All right, this is not long. But it's in Yiddish. Last time I learned in Yiddish, see, it's very short. Here, let's see where it is. Here it goes. See, that's the whole business. It's very short, very packed with meaning and understanding. Last time I did one in Yiddish, so somebody complained, don't do it in Yiddish because I don't understand Yiddish. And I said, that's a good idea. I won't do it in Yiddish. And then I saw that like 100 people watched it because you get views afterwards. So either all these old Yiddish people are watching it or it interested somebody. I don't know what happened. But anyway, it happened. So without analyzing it, I'm going to do another one in Yiddish. And for those people that suffer from Yiddish, so what can I tell you? Either suffer, it's not such big suffering, or learn to enjoy it. I did. Let's go. Here we go. Vegan, the Membesos, regarding the 42 journeys. This should be the worst suffering you ever in your life. This, and we're regarding the 42 journeys in Parshas Masai. The Baal Shem Tov said, Azay Zayin and Aleph Aran by Yedin Yedin, that these 42 journeys are by every single Jew in the course of his life. Asher Yitzum in Eretz Yisrael, that when leaving Egypt, what does that mean? That means the day you're born. Darnach, then afterwards, B'meshech Yom Yechayim, in the course of his life, all of the rest of the journeys until he comes to Yarden Yerecho, means he dies. The soul goes out of the body. Huh? Pretty interesting. And even though as fish in the Masos, that among those journeys are bad things. Zayin, the Masonas, Hepech HaRatzon Elyon. They are the opposite of God's will. And they can oishtel and a seder. How can we possibly make an order where there has to be bad things come into your life? Just 1 second. I just want to see something. 1 second. Yes, just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. For instance, how can it be that we put bad things? What everybody's going to do sins. For instance, take an example. Is there thus moving as the Bira Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov said that these are the journeys that they themselves, they must be holy. Nor but as is doch gegeven gevorn bechira, but a person has been given free choice. Is mitzad ma'asehim, because of their choices that the Jews had brought about the inyanim hepachatov, because they made the wrong choice. But choosing is a wonderful thing. I mean, that's the essence of man, is to choose, huh? Like I just saw a lecture the other day from anyway, the lecturer said it's like a mother telling her son, write me a letter telling me that you love me. Right? Write me, Rabbi Lazar, the chief rabbi of Russia. Write me a letter and say that you love me. What is the letter worth? You have to do it from your own free will. Oh, but b'shas bechira, when a person has free choice, then when the free choice is the way it's not supposed to be, then bad things come out. Like it says, but when a person chooses right, then it's he chose to do good. B'charta b'chayim. He went against nature. He defied negativity, and he did a positive thing. That's very, very high. Then we have to remember that God also helps us to do good. The Torah, because the Torah says, the Torah says you should choose life. If so, the Torah, which is of course God, is giving you power to choose, help you to do good. But it's still a battle. But God just helps you. That's the way God made the world. And therefore, so if you choose the right things, then all the journeys are good. For instance, it says one of the journeys is Sham Kivro Ama Mitavim. It says they went to a place called Kivro Tata'ava. Kivro Tata'ava, it says the Jewish people, they just complained to God. They complained to God, they complained about Moshe, the too much journeying in the desert, we should be in Israel already, and they complained about everything. You Jews know how to complain. They're really, really good at complaining. They complained at the weather, they complained about the manna, the man, they complained about Moses, they complained about everything they could complain about, they complained about. Right? The only thing they did not complain about was that they had an ability to complain. That they enjoyed very much. It says what happened is God said, I had enough of them, and there was a plague over there, and people, because they were always complaining, as the people that were complaining, they died. They were buried. Kivro tatava means those who were complaining, they were buried. Is dar inyan in Kedusha? What is it in Kedusha? A very, very high level. Namely, not relevant to having a desire, that a person should be to a level where he buries all his desires. Not he gets buried because of his desires, he buries his negative desires. Nit norvas bepoil is nit kain taiva. Not only he doesn't have any desires, he ignores them, but kevru, he buries them. As is gorn nit begeder im zol zayin shayach taiva, that he should have any bad desires. Right? There's people that walk around the streets thinking about how can I rob this bank? How can I cheat somebody? How can I do this? Right? There's other people that they don't have these desires. It's stupid. Right? There's people that come into a room, there's a bottle of whiskey on the table, they can't think about anything else. That's all. Other people that come in the room, there could be 1,000 bottles of whiskey where they talk to people, they have conversations, they do normal things. Right? This person, if he can get rid of his desires, wonderful. If he could bury them, then he'd be normal like everybody else. What if you could bury all of your negative desires, all of your jealousy, all of your hatred, all of your... Nor mitzadatis arvus olam, because the world gets all mixed up, therefore it is relevant to choose the opposite of good. That's the explanation. From this, we can understand why the 42 journeys are in every single Jew. These 42 journeys, these are things, velcha, which, seinen gewen by Easter, bis Easter, which until now they were, Wesen men doch schoin, welche inyanim men hat ois genutzt the tov, welche lehipach. A person can look in retrospect, and he can see which choices did I make properly, and which did I make not properly. You have to learn from the past. Right? The past is very valuable. The past gives you knowledge, experience. That's in regard to the past. What about the future? The Masa'ot, those journeys, which you have to go through. Now you have the choice, und der Ansag, and the commandment, that everyone has to use these for good. There will be challenges, there will be journeys, but there are also opportunities. Ubafrad, and especially mitzad dem inyan from ubacharta b'chayim. You should choose life. I mean, a person can say, listen, why does God do this? Let us just be good. So the answer is, God already has that. He did do it. That's the angels. The angels, it's only good. Right? Would you like to die and be an angel? Most people say no. Most people say they would not do. Not only that's a big crime to kill yourself. And life is very, very precious. What's the thing about life? You can choose. A person can choose. Human beings can choose. That's the unique thing about a human being. A special gift, the biggest gift God gave us is the power to choose. That's what makes a human being a human being. Elana Dechaye, it's the tree of life. Panemius Torah, the inside of the Torah, Velcha is Megala Dem Tiv from Yeder Inyan, which reveals the good from everything. This is called the tree of life. There's the tree of good and evil, that's the ability to choose. And the tree of life means that you'll always choose the most healthy and positive thing. That you can choose and transform the not good into a tree of life. We just finished learning that in the Gemara. It says, what does it say? That Zosa Torah Asher Sam Moshe b'nei Yisrael. Lifnei b'nei Yisrael. So the Torah can be Sam. Sam means like a medicine. It can be either poison or it can be a medicine that helps you. Sam means Sam Amavet or Chasam Achayim. The Zelbazach, the same thing, is Menogea to Inyan from Bein HaMetzorim. So in other words, we have been given the power, these 42 journeys. God says you're going to have 42 journeys, there are 42 challenges, and that you can transform them all from either bad to good or from just mundane to good or seemingly meaningless to good. These are things that everyone goes, that's life. The same thing is relevant now, especially to these 3 weeks. Was in that tug, which in that day, always Parshas Masai is always in the middle of the 3 weeks. The 3 weeks are the 3 weeks from Yud Zayin Tammuz, when the enemy broke through the walls of Jerusalem, until Tisha B'Av, when the enemy destroyed Jerusalem. As the Inyanim Velchar Hab, and those things which happened Bein HaMetzorim back then, is then nit di his arvos belumazeh, if it wouldn't have been that the Jewish people would have chosen bad, hot men ze gekent ois nutzen and avoda nalitz the kedusha. We could have taken those 3 weeks, the bad things that happened back then. The only reason they happened is because we made the right choices, but really there was a tremendous potential there. Like you have the thing about atomic energy, right? Atomic energy on one hand is wonderful. You can make whole cities, light up whole cities, right? There's very little pollution, very little this. And on the other hand, that you can use and make an atomic bomb. You can destroy a whole city. One person, one weak, nothing, evil person can just press a little button and he can destroy. On the other hand, that same weak, little, nothing person, he can provide electricity and power and energy to. It depends. You have your free choice to use it. The same thing, the 3 weeks. The 3 weeks, there was atomic power. They could use it however they wanted to, and they chose to use it for bad. Ubedugmas, for instance, the sin of the golden calf. Listen to this. The sin of the golden calf, which is the source of all of the sins afterward. Like it's known as the chet, is gekommen from dem was Jeden haben sich misbonen gewen in dem Rekava. Why did the Jewish people sin with the golden calf? It says that the Jewish people, they contemplated very deeply in the what's called the chariot of God. Was them Pnei Shor Sheba Merkava B'Shas Matan Torah. It says at the time they went over the Yam Suf, it says I read, and also at the time of Matan Torah, it says that all the spiritual worlds split. They saw all of the spiritual worlds opened up to them. They saw the Creator Himself. That's what happened also Kriyas Yam Suf. Well, on the way, what they saw, it says the chariot of God. Remember we learned that in the chariot that Ezekiel saw and also Isaiah saw. And on this chariot of God, or the throne of God also, it says, there is 4 faces. There's a face of, on the 4 corners, face of a man, the face of an eagle, the face of a lion, and the face of an ox. It says the dominant one is the face of the ox. The Jewish people started thinking, what happened when they made the golden calf? Look back there what it says. They made the golden calf. What did they say? This is the God that took you out of Egypt. What a stupid thing to say. That golden calf took them out of Egypt? Well, that's ridiculous. It says, but it's not so ridiculous. When they left Egypt, they saw this form of the spiritual chariot and how dominant it was in the spiritual worlds, and the dominant face on that chariot is the face of the ox. So they said, the ox is what took us out of Egypt. As kum dach oi, so it comes out as a philo azoi. Inyan, such a high thing, can bring to a chet, can bring to a terrible sin. Biz zum cheda egel, until the sin of idolatry. It was the Jews heard on Mount Sinai. They heard directly from God the first 2 commandments. The first and the second of those 2 commandments is, don't worship idols. What did they do 40 days after they heard this? They worshipped an idol. The golden calf. It's worse than you think. Listen to this. Is b'shas is b'charta b'chayim, even though that they could have chosen life, because they had the free choice, even though they could have chosen life, farmated men, they exchanged that for the sin, noch mer, and even worse. Men nutztim der inyan in a medrega nailis b'kedusha. You can, if you want to, you can even take this level, this ability to do sin, and you can use that energy to do good. Biz to his bonus b'merkava the alfei shinan hecher mimasharo Yechezkel is something even higher than what Yechezkel ben Buzi saw. So they could have used this energy to do good if they wanted to. Right, I'm sorry. Yeah, if they wanted to, they could have changed this energy and the ability to do bad. They could have used it to do good. Un al derech vi, like we can find by Yeravam ben Nevat. Now Yeravam ben Nevat, this is a very scary story. Yeravam ben Nevat, he reached the highest levels of spirituality and Judaism that you could possibly reach. He knew the whole Torah, he knew all the secrets. It says when he would sit in a field and learn Torah, it says that fire was around him. A prophet came, Achi Hashiloni, and came to him and told him that he should be the king of the 10 tribes. and he became the king of the 10 tribes. He moved the 10 tribes because the son of King Solomon wasn't good, so they divided the kingdom, and he became the king of the 10 tribes. He was such a holy, wonderful person. What did he do? Suddenly he got this idea, Yerovam ben Nevat. It says in Pirkei Avot, it says that he's sinned and made everybody sin. He is the example of the sinner, the worst sinner. He turned everybody from the Torah, was Bashas, the Mishnah, in the time of the Mishnah, was Bashas, the Mishnah will bring an adugma, when the Mishnah wants to bring an example of someone that sinned and made everyone else sin, as they bring Yerovam ben Nevat. What do we learn out of this? You know what Yerovam ben Nevat did? I mean, you won't believe this. Yerovam ben Nevat, he built 2 golden calves. This is the Jewish people. This is like 600 years after the sin of the golden calf. It's written in the Bible. Every Jew knows this story and knows how angry God got. What did he do? He built 2 golden calves. It seems that in those days that the lust and the pleasure that people got from serving idols was 1,000 times more than it is now. Now you get some missionaries or something, they get some poor Jew that's a derelict or something on the street, and they make him that he's desperate or he doesn't know anything about Judaism. Back then he was Yerovam ben Nevat. He knew the whole Torah. He knew everything. And what did he do? He built 2 golden calves. And the Jewish people worshipped them. They worshipped them for like 200 and something years until the 10 tribes were taken into exile. From Desveg, and nevertheless, Zogdai from the Gemara says, as hat learned, he learned 103 different interpretations of the book of Leviticus in Torah Kohanim. Torah Kohanim is a midrash called Sifra. And he knew Torah Kohanim, and he knew 103 explanations on every single sentence in the book of Leviticus. That's what this is on. It says he put on a new garment and he learned together with Achi Ashiloni in a field. And it says he learned together with Achi Ashiloni and Mechadish given the Chidushim. He made all sorts of new how do you call it? Deep ideas of the Torah. He intuitions, deep ideas in the Torah. That's not the right word. Was nor ze beider haben es gekent. Only he and Achi Ashiloni. Achi Ashiloni, it says that he lived like 1,000 years or something. He was the one that taught King David, and he taught the Baal Shem Tov. Well, more than 1,000 years. Nor durach dem is arvus from the Umazeh. He knew how to learn 103 different interpretations, deep interpretations, revelations of the Torah. But because all of a sudden the Yetzer Hora came, as he did exactly the opposite. He took 103 interpretations and he built the Egel. Egel is the golden calf. Egel is the numerical value of 103. Right? Ayin is 70, Lamed is 100, is 30, that's 100, and Gimel is 303. Is Abra moving, so it's understood as Durach Becharta B'chaim, but because you could choose life, which he could have used that same intellect to do tremendously good things. So it is in these 3 weeks. As the Inyanim, that those bad things that happen in these 3 weeks, which is because that the negative forces took over and people chose them, and it came out the destruction and terrible things that really, it could have been tremendously high things. This could have brought the Moshiach. When oich nach them, and even after, well, the Umazeh had sich rein gemischt. And even after that, after the powers of negativity, they got involved, is durach tshuva, right? Okay, so they made the wrong choice. Even after a person makes the wrong choice, but by means of tshuva, of returning, it says that purposeful sins can become merits. Until you do it, you'll see if it works. Once a person does sins, usually doesn't want to do tshuva, because sins usually make a person feel good. But in order to, you have to change your whole personality. But if you do succeed in doing it, then the bad things transform to be good. Durach tshuva, by means of tshuva, it says that's what will bring the future redemption. In the future redemption, a complete redemption. That all of these days, and all the bad choices that we made in the past will be transformed to joy and happiness. Durach them, by means of the Bein HaMatzarim, which says now we are between the narrow places, between the how do you say, between the suffering times. Vet men tzukom, will come to no suffering, no limitations. Nachla b'li Matzorim, the feeling of the essence of God. Vos is zayin in Izgala govern b'korov durch Moshiach Tzidkeinu, which the Mashiach will reveal to all mankind, that everyone will be connected to good and to life and to happiness and to the Creator of the universe. Have a good Shabbos with Mashiach now. Oh, we wanted to do the Yom Yom. Want to do the Yom Yom? Okay, if you want to. You can tune off if you want. Hayom Yom, what is this here? No. Hayom Yom, there we go. A handwritten note of the Tzemach Tzedek was discovered. It said, he said that he would learn all of the Talmud and all the the Talmud and all the halacha books, law books, 6 hours every day standing. He had fulfilled this, and he did the entire Talmud, Babli, Rishalmi, and the 4 divisions of the Shulchan Aruch. All of them studied in depth. He had finished. He completed his vow. Let's see, can we do tomorrow? 1 minute. 1 minute. How do we get to tomorrow? There must be some way to do it. All right. No. This is Sunday. This is. There must be. Here it goes. Here it goes. What happened over here? Monday. What happened to Sunday? 1 second. 1 minute. This was Sunday. What happened to Shabbos? 1 second. What's going on over here? This is Thursday. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. Here, this is today. Yeah, this is today. Handbook. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit full-bludgeoned over here. This is tomorrow. The unique quality of the Mashiach is that he will be humble. Even though he will be the ultimate greatness and understanding and prophecy, but nevertheless his main thing will be humble, because he'll teach the Torah he'll be the greatest of the greats. He'll teach the Torah to the Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, even to Moshe, but still he will be the ultimate humility and self-nullification, because he will also teach the simplest of the simple. Have a good day. Have a good Shabbos, everyone. With Mashiach now, hope to see you on Sunday, 8:15 in the morning. Yechi Adonenu, Morenu Rabbeinu, Melech Mashiach L'Olam Moed. Have a good day. Have a good Shabbos. And we need Mashiach now.
Rabbi Bolton, how are you?
Yes, thank God. Great.
How are you?
Good to see you participating. Wonderful. I just yesterday discovered how to use podcast.
Tell me, Rabbi.
I'm listening.
Podcast. How does it? You host people for Shabbos? How does it work? You host a shtickle?
Not that much, but you can talk about this Shabbos. I'm not even going to be here. I'm going to be in Ramat Beit Shemesh.
Okay. For the
Ramat Beit Shemesh.
Shabbos.
Yeah, but sure. Keep in touch. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.